Well, hello there, and welcome to my little arty corner of the internet. It's Tuesday, it's the 9th of, not October, the 9th of November 2021, and it's really damp out, it's drizzly, it's grey and misty and rather chilly. It feels chilly because there's no sunshine, and I'm quite happy to be chilly. I had a really dreadful night's sleep. Sort of like I'm a woman of an age that hormonal changes are taking place, perimenopausal, and I'm starting to get night sweats again. I had them for a while in the winter last year, into spring, and I've rarely had them since, but it seems to be coming back with a vengeance. So hey ho. Anyway, on to arty matters. Just thank you everybody for liking my videos, for watching them, for subscribing, for leaving such lovely comments. It all means very, very much. And I sort of feel that I'm not talking to myself anymore. Because I think for a long while making videos, I felt that way, which is good in a way, because it was making me get my thoughts out. I've said this before. It's putting words to thoughts. So I don't think in words when I'm creating art. I don't. But being able to put words to things is good for me. It helps me to express myself in a better way. But it really does mean so much. So thank you, everybody. Before I start the next page, yes, the next page. This is pattern number 2, and my page is complete. I could squeeze some things in here, no doubt, but I think if I want to do any variations on this, I'm just going to turn to another page and make a start there. I really enjoyed doing this. Floral motifs are one of my favourite things to draw. I love patterns, I love organic patterns, I love swirls and abstract things, but when it comes to drawing things that, are vaguely real or based on real life, really is flowers and leaves, botanical stuff and fungi and seeds and things like that I really enjoy. Starfish, shells, seaweed, things like that. But this was really fun, and I got to try a lot of different things out. I think the things I got to try out more than anything was how to add pattern, not just to the motifs, but to the background, because this isn't something I do. My art often involves me just about filling every available inch, centimetre, millimetre of the paper with pattern and not leaving much in the way of open space. I am learning to leave that open space. But there's something about it where I'd like to add something of interest that is very subtle. And in the past, I've experimented with colour or with pale tones, greys and things, and nothing has ever felt right. Perhaps this feels right because it's on a coloured background, I don't know, but I'll walk you through this before I do any drawing. Over here, I have got some spirals that I did with chalk pastel, I think. These are the ones in the middle-ish. And then I went and added more with a Coloursoft pencil from Derwent. And I really enjoyed that. And I've put a wash over the top. If you haven't seen this yesterday, I did that. And although it's not showing up very well on the camera, it's very subtle here. Next door, I have added shadow, and over the top I've put, it's Kiko, I think it is. Let me have a look. Let me try and zoom in a little bit. You'll see my hands go. Oh, there we are. It's a bit better. And can we try? Nope. Let's try the other way. Really need to learn how to make this work. Perhaps that'll help a little bit. But no, it doesn't really. But I used a pale blue moonlight, jelly roll moonlight, which is lovely. And it just adds a bit of brightness there. But above it, which you can't really see, I used Sakura Souffle to carry on the pattern just to see the difference. and it's picked up some of the colour from the background, or the pen is just about empty, so it may have just skipped bits in the middle. Next door, and I added the shadow first with Graphitint. I used Graphitint for all the shadow, I think. But on the top of it, I used a pale grey Jelly Roll Moonlight. And that's subtle enough that it's not in your face, almost. I could do with a bit more shadow to really make that pattern almost disappear into the background. But it's something to work on, you know, these are things that I need to develop. Up here is something I've just done, and these are Kuretake Zig. They're permanent markers. I can't remember what they're called, but they come in two sets. One is called Writer, and that has a brush tip and a scroll tip. And the tip is sort of notched in the middle, so you can do writing that has two lines to it. And what's more is you can actually blend colours tip to tip, so you get gradients, but not that I do that. The other ones have got a fine point and a thicker point. And I tried the brush pens, which are great because I'm happy to control a brush pen. But then I used the scroll tip just on the very edge. So not face on, but using one of the corners. And I got these very fine lines which skip and, you know, which are really nice. And I did add some shadow around here, and again, Graphitint, and those marks do show through. These Zig pens are permanent, and they're also archival, which is lovely because most fine liners aren't archival. And I'd forgotten I had them until this morning, and suddenly I thought, oh, I wonder if, because I haven't really used them, because a lot of the colours are a bit in your face, but there's a lot of very subtle colours there, so that was nice. I don't know if you can make this one out. I did this with a fine liner and then some I think did I use graphite on the top? I might have done. Or perhaps I can't remember how I did that. And here again, it's fine liner over the top of things that have been added shadow. This one I drew over the top of the shadow that was added with the Jelly Roll. And on the screen it looks more contrasty than it actually does. It's the function of the light. The way the camera picks up light, but it's more subtle when you look at it. I quite like that. This one is, I did a Senna, and when I added shadow, the underlying pattern, oh that's right, with these I did them with soft pencil, didn't I? That's right, not fine liners, pencils, and then wash on the top. Same here, pencil, wash on the top, and I've actually put white Jelly Roll onto where I want the highlights to be. The camera's not picking up well, but the pattern is still there and it's very subtle. This one was so much fun. Green pencil, a grey-green pencil with an orangish wash of colour. I used the watercolour inks, Ecoline watercolour inks from a brush pen, and then I added a white Jelly Roll there, and I was thinking, what on earth am I doing? I'm looking at it today and I think, I like that. I actually like that, and I do. It's different. It's not what I would normally choose colours I would do, but it's got that kind of rusty kind of, or organic-y kind of feel of something mouldy or slime mould or something like that, you know, licheny growing there. So that was fun. Hopefully I'll remember how I did it, because I'm not keeping written notes and I forget to do this. This one, again, it was coloured pencil to draw the lines, but I added some shadows with, I can't remember what it was I used to add the darker colour. It may have been Ecoline pens, it may have been Graphitints. What colour for Graphitints though? Can't remember, but I've added highlights there with white. And I think the basic pattern was Munchin. I just added shadow over the top here, and that just helps to mute this Shattuck back. Over here, another version of Shattuck, but I use the Zig pens to draw that. And under here I thought, I rarely use this pattern. I know it, I'm aware of it, which is mist, yeah, MSST or MSST. So I drew it like there were things dripping off. So I used the lightest grey in the Zig pens on this side, and I used a very pale peachy one on this side, and I added shadow to both. And I like the very subtle one more than I like this bolder one. I'd prefer a paler grey there. But then it also depends what colour background I'm working on. This one I haven't done anything with. I only just finished drawing it and I forgot to do some shadow. It's is it Tripoli? No, I've left a circle out there. It's fine. This one, it's very subtle, but you can make out the spirals that I put in there for print on. But I used sure what colours. Do you know, I think these are Ecoline brush pen colours, but that doesn't look like a red I would have from the palette I was using, so I'm not entirely sure where that came from. But I ran one colour into another, and these spirals show up here, but they barely show up here because the colour's quite dark. So that again is interesting because it's almost like something appears as if by magic. What else did I do? I tried fine liners here, just, you know, shade of grey just to fill that in. Here, these colours are actually metallic pencils. They're Derwent's metallic pencils, which are water soluble. But when you use water on them, they lose some of their metallic nature, it seems. But they're very, very pigmented because there's something else to use. I think that's just about it. I added colour to leaves and things. I mean, it really doesn't go. These ones are nice. The grey greens I like because that fits in with the page. Even these brownie coloured ones do. I did that stem as well. I haven't really got much shadow going on, but you know, it's something that I can always go back and work on. So, an interesting page full of interesting ideas. Let me just zoom out again. And today I'm going to start pattern number 3. And this one I'm going to do something in a little bit of a different way. I'm going to spend some time drawing, not too long because I've spent 12 minutes wittering about pattern number 2. And I'm going to use this shape as my basics. And I'm going to turn my book on the side because I can work sideways on, and perhaps you'll see my pen more. As my basic shape, and I'm going to see what I can do with this, what I can turn it into. Yes, it looks like a petal shape, but no petals, no flowers. And just see what happens. I drew the original with a Fudenasuki pen. So let me have a look. But shape in there, it's a bit like Muka. When I colour these pages, they buckle a bit and it's a bit of a pain. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to nestle something that looks like a seed in there, which is lovely. And I'm going to add some contour lines to the seed. Perhaps a spotty bit of dazzle. And then I've got picked up an 02 micron. First one was an 05. I picked up an 01, but it doesn't, in black, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to add hints of black there just to add a feeling of shadow in amongst that brown. So that kind of works. It looks like a seed in a seed pod, although this poor pod doesn't really have much on the other side going for it. So going to do I might have wrecked that. No. Just colour that in black, that'll help. And then shadow will really help that. But poor thing, it's a pathetic seed pod. Let's have a look. This one's going to end up looking a bit like a sunflower seed, I think, especially if I add some colour to the alternate ones. I'm going to use the brown. I don't use these browns as much as I perhaps could, because it's not a natural fit thing for me to do at this time. So that actually is interesting. So these little shapes, have a look. These seed pods appear so often in my work. Am I on the page still? I am just on the camera still, just. Okay, so I think this is one that is encountered in Zentangle. I think I've seen things like this. So I am going to fill this with seeds. I'm doing my best to remember to check the camera as I draw, that you can actually see what I'm doing, that I'm not going off the edge of the view. That's quite nice that I do like to put an aura around it. And in the same way, I also like to put an aura in that central bit as well. And perhaps so I could do with a finer pen. The 08's great. Good. It's an 08? No, it's an 05. It feels thicker than an 05. I think it's because I've been drawing for a couple of hours, or 3-4 hours, templates, and I've been using a 0.3mm mechanical drawing pencil, so everything feels thicker and clunkier at the moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm really going to do my best to make this look like this outer case is curving, and it's curving from the outside down to that middle bit. Don't know if it's something I can achieve easily. I can do it, but what makes the difference with that is definitely the addition of colour or shadow and highlights. Really does make the difference. But that's really quite cute. And of course these can grow on stems. Absolutely, they can. You do get seed pods on stems. So I'm having little seed pods in my sections of stem for it as well. Well, patterns like my little seed pods anyway. And you could actually get some foliage growing there as well. So that looks okay. Let me just go back to this one, because I will There's a little furl there. I'm just going to add some lines to suggest that it's a different shade, or it's coming from underneath where it'd be darker. And I think here, I'm going to use this finer pen just to add some extra lines in areas there, because I can, to make these join a bit better. I think just do this as well, so it makes it look like something a bit on the knobbly side. So there's that one. Okay, let's have a look what else. The shape. I'm thinking I most probably could fill this page up with fairly small drawings. So this is one of my favouriteest kind of shape to use. So again, this is really is seed poddy. I love seed pods. Capsules, pods and seeds are one of my things. And I'm going to put a seed in here. Lessons to be learned, Angela. Use a finer pen when you need to. And I am just going to use some lines there just to shadow, and I'm also going to put some stippling in here. To give the volume, or some volume. Now then, I've got this outside bit to do, and there are many things that can be done to, because this is part of the fun of varying everything. So excuse me for twisting this, but there are many ways of adding patterns to these, and I'm going to go with one of my favourite kinds of patterns. Which are these archy kinds of things. I am going to fill the outside bit in the smaller areas with all black, larger areas with lines perhaps. Just some little bits of black there because they help to define that. And then what I'm going to do as well, get it the right way round, I am going to put an aura around it. So only if you've spotted at the top there I've put a little stem. That's because I can put a little something sticking out there. That looks more like a mandala or the henna tattoos, Mendy, is it? Than perhaps I intended, but it works. The way to make this feel curved is to curve these shapes, and I think I'll do another one on a bigger scale and show you what I mean, hopefully. I prefer to draw the larger one and nest the smaller one inside, but you could draw the smaller one and then draw the larger one round it. Just have a look here, because I think I'm going to draw a bit of an aura in there. Definitely going to do one in here. And then I'm going to grab my pencil and I am going to, remember those lines I drew around these? I'm going to do that with the kind of width that I want for these particular shapes. And then I'm going to follow Come down and around where the pencil was. I don't know if you can see. I'm sure you can, hopefully. I've got my reading glasses on, so when I look up at the screen, everything's very blurry. And peering over the top just doesn't work. Okay, that one will go that way. This one will go that way, and that one will just stick in there. So these, I'm going to do these inside bits, they need to follow the shape. They really give, just by bending those lines, by curving the lines. Gives that feeling of volume here as well. I'm just putting a line with a blob on the end. So it looks a bit like a stamen, I suppose. And then these little gaps I'm just going to add lines where the space will allow me. In fact, in all areas just about it has. And so you've got that feeling of that seed, you know, the seed pod has got these old petals around it. And I can actually do something about making these look a bit more like they are above the background, just by thickening lines and adding deeper shadows in places. It works. I think so, possibly. Okay, so what am I going to do in this middle bit? Well, let's go for more curvy lines. Now I'm going to make these solid. And I'm going to stripe. But I'm going to use this brown pen as well for that. What I'm going to try to do is keep this bit I'm not colouring in the same kind of place. I'm also curving it, the lines just a little bit rather than having them straight, to give that, help with that feeling of volume or of shape and curving. Okay, we've got this one here. It's not so much. There we go. And this will benefit greatly from shadow. It really will, to bring volume out. In fact, it will with all of them. That's the beauty of shadow. So that's my start on those. Start of ideas. Perhaps by the time I make a video tomorrow. Tomorrow may be a funny one because it's a Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, it's the day I draw the colouring template for the Facebook group who like my colouring books. I also need to get work, mind you. Having said that, Wednesdays are my Wednesdays, and Thursdays tend to be my weekend. Wednesdays, definitely. So I will most probably get a video done, but it's going to be one of those funny days. And I've done my templates for the day, so that's done. I'm not worried about those today. But I have got a meeting to go to soon, and another one this evening online. So yeah, so just to start, and it's just that one shape, and already there are, you know, a couple of very different kinds of variations, explorations. And yes, I am drawing them smaller than here because I knew with the flowers, because I was limited to the kind of shape that I wanted to use, it was what I did with that shape, how I embellished it or changed it or drew it, that made the difference. Here, there's so many more possibilities than there are here, even with a limited shape. And perhaps it's because this, you know, this is a bit less, what can I say, ornate, I suppose. Here I went to town with stems. Yes, I'm drawing a stem because I can. And I like stems. Sometimes I like to turn things into actual planty things, but others are motifs that I'll use in my art. And, you know, just good examples of places to look for things like this most probably are on my DeviantArt website, where I've got a lot of my more serious art. You know, lots of other stuff, but, you know, I blog as well, but it's harder to dig through my blog. But I don't know. I'm wittering. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you once again for liking my videos, leaving lovely comments, for subscribing, hopefully hitting the bell so you get notifications when I release a video. And I hope you enjoy drawing along as well and giving you some ideas of what you could do as well. This does look a bit off centre, but if you, I mean, I can, my head going, I could imagine them arranged round a circle, or, you know, as a part of a flower, and it would make actually quite a nice arrangement, or having them sort of like overlapping, like you've got, you know, you've got all of these seed pods together in a little jar, a little pot, and they're all overlaid against one another. Organic things. Yes, I'm not drawing it that way though. It's just lots of different motifs. Anyway, I witter. Please take care of yourselves. Please don't find to be creative, and I look forward to seeing you here again. Take care now. Bye bye.